It's time for the Chips and Salsa Show.
The only show about Latinos for Latinos. And did we mention Latinos?
It's the Latísima.
Latinos come in all flavors, shapes, and sizes. You don't have to be Latino to enjoy chips and salsa.
Everybody loves chips and salsa.
Welcome, chipsters, to the Chips and Salsa Show. We're back on the air, and with me I have Doña Alice Lara from New Mexico. She came on to wish us good luck, and she'll talk a little bit about New Mexico in a little while, a couple of words. And with me, I have a new co-host, Cheryl
Rosado.
Doña Cheryl Rosado.
Hi.
She's not a doña.
Doña Cheryl Rosado. This is Don Jorge. And also our guest today is Jerone Davison. You remember him from the Raiders, a football player, and in the past. And he's running as a candidate for CD4 for the House of Representatives against Stanton. And I think I know who's going to win. But he's going to introduce himself here. Alice, you want to say hello to our chipsters all the way from New Mexico?
All the way live here from Las Cruces, New Mexico. Great to see everyone. And I have to say, Jerome, Don Jorge is really, really good at predicting elections. He really is.
Okay, I'm listening.
Just by having that, I mean, take that to the bank. Seriously. It's good to be on with you guys.
And it's going to be a tough race with Stanton, but my cards are on Jerome. I think actually Pastor Jerome. He's also pastor, and he's a very good Trumpster. Mm-hmm. And with me, I have Cheryl Rosado. She's with the GOP Republican Party. She's a member at large. She's still LD. What is 14?
11.
LD 11. Mm-hmm. LD 11, Legislative District 11. She's going to introduce herself. Well, Alice, Zeke's not with us, but Alice is now in New Mexico with the Chips and Salsa New Mexico version. And that one is airing now because she recorded it yesterday, or they recorded it yesterday. So it's on YouTube. It's on Facebook. It's also on Rumble. And that's what right now we're live on Facebook, and it'll be on YouTube and Rumble this evening after Eric does his magic. With us, we have Eric. He's our producer, director.
Yeah, Eric.
And we're on our new studios here in South Central Phoenix, South Phoenix.
Hey, they're beautiful, by the way. Love it.
Oh, they are nice.
Yeah, and it's got 3 sections to it, and you'll see more sections to it as time goes by. I wanted to also mention the GOP and the MCRC have gotten together with a new headquarters in Chandler. It's beautiful. One of these days we'll record from there, from the House of the People. I'll start calling it the People's House like we did before. But for right now, this is the Chips and Salsa House, our headquarters, and we also have another studio in Tempe, and we'll record there once in a while, once a month or something. But this will be our main studio, and it's going to be wild. So first of all, I want to introduce Cheryl. Cheryl, could you introduce yourself? My new co-host.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Cheryl, and I am a rare born and raised Phoenician, 3rd generation, and I am married. My husband and I just celebrated our 15th anniversary. We have 4 children. Our youngest will be 6 in a few days, and our oldest is 12. And I've been involved in politics since about 2009. I met Alice in the old, what was it, LD 16?
16, yes, ma'am.
Or 17? 16? Okay.
16.
And we used to go to our LD meetings, and there was a good 12 of us or so there. It was so small, but we stuck with it, and we've just been really excited for all the growth that there's been in the Laveen and South Mountain area. And along with Alice, I was the LD secretary before. I was the LD chair, and like Don Jorge said, I'm currently the AZGOP member at large for CD3.
And so she shares and she shares a thing with me. I was LD chair of LD 19 for a while. So she was LD chairs, and LD chair, the legislative district chair runs the legislative district for that period of time. Usually it's a year, 2 years. I did it for 4 years. She did it for a few years. So we have that experience, and we've grown with that experience. So we're Trumpers. You can see we follow Trump. I have my little Trump hat here.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Don Jorge.
With us today, we have our guest. I'll go to our guest, and then
before you do that, Don Jorge, before you do that, real quick, can I just interject, because Cheryl's not giving herself enough credit. Cheryl is a homeschooled mama. She kind of had to take a little break from politics for a while, and during that time, I could always depend on her. I'd go to her house. She and her husband, they would, help me with petitions. They were still very active and engaged. Her parents were wonderful, and her late dad was great. And I can't, someone who, because it's hard to just stay engaged because there's so much to do. And then she came back, so I just want to give her a lot of kudos. And I've been blessed to know her as long as I had. Her kids they were all little kids for a long time. So I really appreciate that, and that you're hanging in there and still remain. And please say hi to Tony for me.
Thank you, Alice. That's really sweet. And I have to say that being LD chair, being state committeeman, being member at large, being all the positions that I've had, a big part of that, I personally give thanks to Alice for always keeping me engaged, keeping me informed what the LD was up to, because like she said, I had child after child after child. I had cancer. I had stuff going on, and Alice was always faithfully there. And I appreciate you so much, Alice.
Oh, thank you. Back at you.
And the thing is, I hope she sticks with us a long time, because I hope she likes the Chips and Salsa hosting the show. And we needed a Latina just like Alice, and as part of our Chips and Salsa thing is having a host and hostess that are Hispanic background and stuff. But right now, let's introduce our guest, Jerone Davison. And Jerone, talk about yourself. I know I said you were a football player, but you're a pastor, you're an ex-football player, and talk about the office you're running for. And
certainly. Thank you guys for having me. I'm just excited to be back with Chips and Salsa. I was expecting my salsa and chips this time. We'll do it next time.
No, you're supposed to bring them, Jerome. It's you, the guest. Chips and salsa, right?
We go. I'll bring them next time.
You bring the chips.
Yeah,
I'll bring the
chips.
salsa.
We'll bring the salsa.
Yeah, we'll bring the salsa.
So excited to be here and to talk about my run for U.S. Congress in CD4, Tempe, Mesa, Ahwatukee, and Chandler. I'm a pastor, father of 5, 1 son, 3 grandchildren, and I'm running to make sure that America stays free. I'm running on a platform of freedom, safety, and on the economy. We want to get back to plugging into the energy source and running, using cheap oil, cheap gas, to lower the cost of food and to lower the cost of living for Arizonans. I knock on doors throughout Arizona in my area. People are complaining about the open border. They're complaining about the food prices. Mm-hmm. I want to do something for the people. And Greg Stanton, the incumbent, he hasn't done anything but vote with the Bidenomics economies that is hurting Americans. The only time that man stood on the floor to talk and address anything was for the transgenders. Me, on the other hand, I believe in parental rights. I believe parents should have a right and a say-so in what's the curriculum is being taught in the schools. I think they should have a say-so on whether these men who are transgender should be able to come into their schools and do storybook hour with their children. And they should have a say-so with that. And I'm the only candidate in this race who is running on the platform of freedom of speech. I have the Internet Bill of Rights, and I think I'm the only one in the country who's concerned about the digital prison that's being built around us. The Internet Bill of Rights is not only about freedom of speech on social media, but I don't know if you notice or not, but most of our lives are being uploaded into the internet. You know, most of us do Zooms from home. That's our income. We promote our businesses. We sell our clothing. We sell our health food products. We promote our churches from there. That's something that we want to secure. My Internet Bill of Rights will do that. And I think the last leg of that digital prison that they're trying to build is actually digital currency that's ran by the government. I think that's the last leg. We need to make sure that I get to Congress, put the Internet Bill of Rights there, and make sure that Congress does not pass a central digitized income that's going to put all of us in a major prison. That would be a worldwide catastrophe. Also, I'm a pastor. I've been preaching the gospel for a long time. And I think the thing that sets me apart from my opponents is that I have been a servant for close to 30 years, serving the people. They're counseling their families, being in their homes, eating at the table, counseling their marriages and going through them with their divorces, being at their children's first day of school, being at their son's first football game because I played football for the Oakland Raiders and I was running back for Arizona State, sharing the word of God with families and just being there and hearing them. And I think 30 years have trained my ear to listen to the people and not only listen, but to take action. And I think where we are right now as America is not so much because of the Democrats, because we know who they are. They're Democrats. Their policies are harmful for America. But I think we're here because of weak Republicans. They have been inactive. They have been spineless. And I want to go to Congress and stand up for our rights. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed in the way that I serve my community. I have a 4-point vision for CD4. Number one, I want to give you 4 promises. Number one is that I want to reveal my taxes every year that I'm in Congress. I want to show you that I will not receive dirty lobby money. The second thing is that I will not make a major vote on the floor without consulting my 5 LD chairs. LD chairs oversee the precinct committeemen, and the precinct committeeman represents the community. I'm sorry about that. But and then I want to do fundraising for my community and also start recruiting PCs. That's my vision for CD4. We're going to make it the reddest in the state, therefore making the state red once again.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Jerone, I first met you in the Latinos for Trump office in South Phoenix in 2020. And I remember talking to you then, and you let me know that you had speaking gigs around, and being an outspoken conservative had been met with a bit of, you weren't welcome.
Right.
That's so right. Welcome anymore. So has anything changed from then to now in the last 4 years?
Yeah, I think a lot of Black people are starting to come around. The opposition that I faced on the initial part of supporting President Donald Trump is no longer there. You know why? Because they've seen the face of the beast through Joe Biden and the Democrats. Whatever they say, believe the opposite. If they say that they're going to do they're going to lower interest rates, well, expect high ones. If they say that they're going to do Planned Parenthood, well, it expect people not to be parents. But then because they have seen the negligence. And I think the last leg of that negligence is how allowing these illegals to come into safe places like Chicago and New York and San Francisco and all the places where there's just hubs of Black people. And they're taking away the freedoms of the Black people. They won't let the children play sports because the illegals are filling the schools and filling the football. And so they see that. And so now they're supporting President Donald Trump. And I was getting ready to write an op-ed, and I think I may still do it, about Lawrence Taylor at President Donald Trump's New Jersey rally the other day. Lawrence Taylor. Everybody knows Lawrence Taylor. This is the best defensive end in history. And that's saying a lot. And I'm not just dressing this up. He is the best defensive end in NFL history. And he was on stage the other day with President Donald Trump, and he said these words. These words are remarkable. And I believe this is going to mark the end of the Democrat Party. And I have been one who've advocated for this, that the Democrat parties need to be labeled as terrorists. They were the ones who started the KKK. And they've always had harmful ways of trying to force their policies on people. And we see that with the Palestinians. But here's what Lawrence Taylor said. He said to President Donald Trump, and he said to the crowd of 100,000 there in New Jersey, he said, I was a Democrat my whole life. He said, that's all I knew was Democrats. He says, but after meeting this man, he pointed to President Donald Trump. This is what he said. My family will never, ever again vote for the Democrats. Boom.
It was powerful.
That statement.
That right there. That is going to be the end of the Democrat Party, because I'm telling you, their lies are no longer going to be able to work with the black people, because the wool is being pulled from their eyes, and people like Lawrence Taylor is not going to be intimidated by those talking pundits on TV who are nothing but gatekeepers for the Democrats. I'm talking about these black folks that's up there yakking and rebuking anybody who comes out in support of Trump. But that's what I had to bear initially. I had to bear all of that. And it shut down a lot of my income, right? It hurt a lot of my income, because I'm a public speaker. I'm a preacher. I'm an itinerant speaker. I sell my books and all this stuff. But so a lot of my speaking engagement shut down because I was supporting Trump. Now, what sin did I commit? Did I kill an unborn child? No. Did I sleep with somebody's wife? Did I have sex outside of marriage? No. The sin was supporting President Donald Trump. But now they know that President Donald Trump isn't what they're saying he is.
I know it's crazy the way even Latinos have gravitated towards President Trump, and blacks, Latinos, everybody. We're starting to unite as one, and we just have to just shut off that false narrative that the Democrats keep shooting out, that they're doing everything for us. They're not.
No.
You know, I used to be a Democrat 30 or 40 years back. And ever since I became a Republican, a conservative, I've seen the light. And you could see, just don't drink their Kool-Aid. Alice, what do you have to say?
Well, and remember, George, our show now is going on 10 years in October. And one of the reasons, the mission that we started with, is to prove, hey, just because you're Latino, you're a little bit brown, doesn't mean you're a Democrat. And both of us were former Democrats. And Cheryl, were you ever a Democrat?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, good for you. Salute. So, yeah, absolutely. I just saw a poll. I think it was a Rasmussen poll, and I meant to have it in front of me, so I apologize for that. But it is really making a turn. Minorities, as you said, Jerone, they're waking up. Pastor, I should call you Pastor. They're waking up and they're realizing, all these things are affecting me. This has not been Biden. The Biden administration has not been a good thing. The economy is number one still. And I think actually illegal immigration is, because it affects everything. It really does.
And I've noticed that I do see an outpouring of Black men now vocally supporting Trump, which is super exciting. My husband is Black, and he would always say that it's a bit difficult to be a Black conservative, and to see the sudden turn is just a tremendous blessing. And I'm really excited. And I think that it's people like you that had the courage to be outspoken when it did cost you and it did hurt. Are part of the reason that we see men now are willing. My husband watches lots of YouTubes now that are Black men talking about conservative things and supporting Trump, and it's an amazing thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we need right now. We need people who are bold, not to be swayed by the popular thought at the time, because I watch and I witness the media lie, just out and out lie against President Donald Trump. I hated that. That made me want to support him even more. And I think from what I'm hearing, and from what I'm hearing from people, I'm talking about just the general public, not people who are so much involved in politics, but for people who are just regular voters, they say that, all of these lies and this lawfare against President Donald Trump makes me want to vote for him more. And the Democrats, they're like Wile E. Coyote right now, because every weapon they're throwing at President Donald Trump is coming back to smash and crash on them. And I believe that this is going to be a landslide victory for President Donald Trump. But what we're going to need is not need President Donald Trump in office. We need an AG that is going to apply the law. And we need people in Congress who are going to vote with the America First policies that President Donald Trump is going to enforce, and get this machine called America flowing again, to where everybody from the bottom to the top, from top to the bottom, are living in prosperity. These people, these Democrats, they're trying to choose a winner. They're trying to pick a winner. And so they'll pick somebody who's non-white or somebody who's non-male and try to give them the victory, when the American government needs to step back out of the way, get out of people's beds and sexual activities and all that kind of stuff. That's not the federal government's job. Your job is to make sure, number one, that Americans are safe, close the border, and to make sure that our American dollar it's prosperous, and that it's attractive to nations around the world so that we can bring business in here. We can do lending with that American dollar, and so that our savings will grow. But under Biden, the American dollar has weakened and our savings have diminished. And it bothers me to see my money in my 401k. I want to take it out so bad. I want to, but I'm watching it, watching it deplete every day, and it's hurting me. My chest hurts. And I can't wait for Trump to get back in. So everybody vote for President Donald Trump, and then vote for Pastor Jerone Davison so I can get in, and vote for the policies that are American, not for foreigners, not for invaders. They tell me that America is a country of immigrants. No, it's not. America is a country of laws. And if we don't apply these laws, well, then our country will no longer be a country. It'll just be a back door for the world to come into. We don't want that.
Absolutely. You know, I wanted to ask Jerome real quick, because one of the points you said when you're elected, okay, your plan is that you are not going to do a vote without consulting the LD chairs. And that's, you know, no one's ever talked about that before. And that would be a really effective way of going to the grassroots, because the LD chairs, of course, that's for legislative districts. So if anybody from New Mexico is watching, and legislative district is akin in New Mexico to, they call them wards out here. And it's a different structure, how they're organized. But then you have a direct voice of communication. And I really like that, because I think that's what happened. The guys go out there and they forget about who they're actually representing.
They forget about who
you,
got them
especially
elected.
as a pastor. Yeah, exactly. As a pastor, you have those great communication skills. So I'm very excited about that point. I think every campaign should have that. Especially in you're running for Congress, right? So every congressman should be on their list.
Well, that's exactly right. Because I was saying this just the other night with the young Republican tars, is that I would love to see every Republican person who's running for Senate and running for the House to adopt my 4-point strategy. Now, this strategy didn't come from one of my strategists or counselors or mediators in my campaign. This came straight from me, because this is something that I've been wanting to see from the people who represent me. Y'all don't know how much pain I've sat in, throwing socks and shoes at my TV, mad at these Republicans who are not reflecting our thoughts there in Congress. And so I'm tired of being upset and being angry. I want to go there and be the representative that I have desired, that I know is going to work for. You know, when President Donald Trump was in office the first time, we had the House and the Senate. And had we had Republicans who would do what we needed to do, we would have built that wall and we wouldn't be facing this invasion.
That's where, you know,
this stuff is crazy.
We have to fight that. We have to fight Republicans getting in office in the House and the Senate who don't back our president. We need a House and a Senate that speaks for the people.
Yes.
Not for the special interests.
The people want Trump. And so we want to give Trump the support that he needs. And we want our representatives that we elect to support Trump.
Absolutely. And I have two guys in this race that I'm in who are former anti-Trumpers. And you know, everybody can have a chance to repent and reform their lives. I'm a pastor. I know that. I'm open to forgiveness. I'm open to forgiveness. But we have two people in this race that I think that they're masquerading as Republicans, and they're here just to try to get some of this tailwind and some of this fortune that the Republican Party is getting ready to ride on. They know that they can't run as independents or as Democrats and get voted in, because America is tired of all of the Democrat stuff. We need people who are strong. They're going to stand on the issues, right? I'm the only candidate in this race that said that I'm no longer going to send any money to Ukraine. And during my PBS debate with them, they said that they want to send money to Ukraine, and one of them called Ukraine an ally. He called Ukraine an ally, and they're not an ally.
No.
I said the Bank of America should be closed for this war. And I said, here's the thing. I said, here's one of the great reasons why I hate what they're doing, because our president nor the European presidents have ever come together and used something called diplomacy. They haven't sat down at the table and said, hey, let's figure this out. Let's see, Russia is a pit bull and Ukraine is a chihuahua. Well, you tell Ukraine you can't win this, okay? You'll get eaten alive. And if Russia wanted to be heavy-handed, they could end this thing today. But they haven't been heavy-handed. And so I think they should use diplomacy. That way we could stop the wasting of money and the wasting of lives, because Ukraine don't have enough men. They're running out of men right now.
Yeah.
Okay. And the next thing they're going to request from us is to send our soldiers over there, of which I will be totally against. I'm against sending the money, and I'm against going to war.
I know.
Yes.
I heard where the head of Ukraine said that this isn't the last request they're going to make for money.
Yes.
It's going to continue and continue and continue.
Well, they got some dirt on Biden. Always remember this, that President Donald Trump was impeached because of Ukraine, because he wanted to know about the corruption that was going on in there. He wanted to know what was happening with the funding. Why did Biden hold $2 billion of American taxpayer dollars from Ukraine to get rid of an investigator that was investigating Hunter Biden's activities there? And they impeached him over that. And then now we turn around and we're sending them billions of dollars without knowing what they're doing with it. Right. All I know is I see videos of brand new yachts. I see the president over there is buying brand new mansions for his parents.
I'm sure some of it has found its way back to the Democratic Party.
And of course, it's being laundered back to many of the, and not just Democrats, but I think Republicans are in on it too. Yeah. And if we were open up the books and do an investigation, we would find that a lot of these lawmakers who voted with the Democrats to send this money over there, they would be involved in it too. Also, I would say too, that pushing the COVID shots was also something that put money into the pockets of the lawmakers. I would have never done that.
I think there's a lot of Republicans that, I hate to use the word rhinos, but they're just by the name of a Republican. They do a lot of underhanded things, like sending the money to sending the money to Ukraine is like, there were, I don't know how many Republicans that just were steadfast and wanting to send the money instead of coming together as a party. And like you say, where's the money going to?
Right.
We need accountability.
Yeah.
You know, if we're going to help you, we want to know where's it going. You know, it's like,
how many weapons did you purchase?
Yeah.
How many of them were used in war? Were there tanks? Were they missiles? You know, I mean, this is accountability, but we haven't seen this.
We're the bankers to the world, and that's wrong.
You know,
we need to take care of our country. We need to take care of our people. Alice.
Well, we don't have the money. We simply don't even have this money. First of all, too, we're at almost 35 trillion is our national debt. We need some good people in there. We need good representation. Of course, I'm big on Trump 2024. But I am worried a little bit about, Arizona. When I moved here back to New Mexico a couple of years ago, people were excited. Oh, Arizona, man, it's so conservative, so Republican. And I feel like it's still the heart of Arizona is conservatism. I said the only thing that is, you have a Democrat governor like we do. I think the only statewide office that's publicly held by a Republican is Tom Horn, who's a superintendent of public instruction. So I want to make a plea right now, because I know Arizona's watching us as well as New Mexico. And if you see good candidates in either state, even if you see some good ones that have some potential in California, please support them. If you can send them $20, it's okay. You can send them from out of state, because the important thing, they still, even Jerome gets in there. He's going to, of course, represent his constituents from his district, but he has a vote that represents the whole United States. And it can be very powerful. So, I just always like to give that message, George. I know I sound like a broken record because we always talk about it, but it's really true. If you've got a few bucks that you can send Jerone's way, campaigns are so expensive, especially congressional ones. They're outrageous. I mean, what do you think as far as money, Jerone, that it's going to take to run an effective campaign? And you're a conservative, so, you're a cheapskate like me, most likely.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not being funded by any special lobbyists or establishment, any of that. I'm being totally funded by we the people. And the group. Wonderful thing is that I'm creative with the camera. My team and I are creative. We created the greatest campaign ad ever called "Make Rifles Great Again."
The greatest.
Super.
It went viral. It was amazing.
That was awesome.
It was something that I got a great kick out the first time I saw it. It was exciting. And then getting to show it to everybody. You got to see this ad. My friend made it. I said,
right. And look, and listen, that put my name out there, and it only cost me probably about 30 minutes to make, and maybe $200. And so you want to talk about being conservative. That's I'm the master of being conservative. You know, you have to turn that lemon into some lemonade. And so that's what I'm actually doing again this year. We're leading in, as I stated, in several straw polls. The campaign is doing great, and we're doing that really on a shoestring budget. But we're doing great. We're going out to all the meetings. We're at.
People need help.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I still need the money. Don't let me talk myself out of the money.
Yeah, right.
Please donate. And you know, here's an interesting way that I decided to do it. Donate your shoe size. You know, I know Bidenomics is hurting everybody and money is kind of tight. So if you want to do something, look down at the size of your shoe. And I hope it's the size of Shaquille O'Neal's foot. Or maybe it's the 25 footers. Yeah, but just look at the shoe, get your shoe size, $10, $20, whatever it is, and donate it to my campaign. And I don't see my campaign as just a political campaign. I see it as a spiritual campaign. I believe that the work that I'm doing is for the kingdom of God. I want to serve the freedom of humanity. And I see that we are in a very tremendous spiritual battle. And that's why I tell everybody we're going. I ask everybody, I say, I'm in a room full of 200 people. I say, how many, raise your hands, everybody, if y'all believe we're in a spiritual battle. Just about every hand in the room goes up. I said, so what are we doing spiritual? What are we doing spiritual? Okay, physically, we're pointing out the mistakes. We're pointing out the devil. We're pointing out what the devil is doing. But what are we doing? Are we praying? And if we are praying, between me and my opponents, which one of us is the answer to your prayers?
Oh, that's good. I like that. You know, I want
to. Did you feel that?
I did.
Did you feel the Holy Spirit right there?
Awesome.
And that's what usually happens too when I do that. And I want that silence to be there because I want that moment to marinate. I want people to really consider, if we are in a spiritual battle, the word of God is the greatest weapon we can have in spiritual warfare, the greatest. And then second to that is prayer. And if we are praying about a spiritual battle that we are in, well, then God's going to lead you to make the right decisions.
You're the only candidate, and we've interviewed hundreds of candidates, right, Alice?
Yeah.
That have said they're going to be answerable to their LD districts.
Yeah.
I've never had any candidate say that to us. They've been good candidates. I mean, we've had candidates like crazy, but none of them had said that they'll be answerable to their LD districts. So I say amen to that.
Amen. I agree with you. Let me tell you something. I believe that each one of my local districts need at least $100,000 in their coffers. I'm going to tell you why. After meeting with our young people, I see that we're really anemic when it comes to young people. We're hurting.
Yep.
The Democrats have a lot of young people. They have a lot of young people. When we're going out doing door to door, what's wrong with us purchasing those glider boards that they can get on, and they can get to more doors in a day than we could just by walking? We can have, each LD should have a van for transportation. When you're going out with your door knocking, you're going out canvassing, you should have a van for that. You should have facilities that can facilitate young people with technology that will keep them there. Also, to take field trips, political field trips to Washington, to different places where there's political events. That's why we need the money in there, because that's how you recruit and keep young people. And I want to raise at least $100,000 for each one of our LDs.
You'll do it. You can do it. We can do it as a party.
Yes. I mean, with the power and the influence of a congressman, and I would be working closely with my district. I'm not going to be one of those creatures that go up there and disappear in the swamp. You know, no. I'm going to be a pastoral type of congressman, the way I want to make sure that everybody in my LD is doing well, everything is funded for, everything's provided for, and that I fulfill my every word and promise that I make to my LD.
A servant leader.
A servant leader, absolutely. And I believe that's what we need. When we get back to that, then we're going to be powerful as a country.
I think there's no when you talk about it like that, it's not shocking to think that when our country was founded, most of those men were men of God. They were men of faith. And we are lacking that. We have churches nowadays that speak watered down gospels, and they're not preaching the hard truths. And my husband always says, if you love someone, you will tell them the hard truth.
That's true.
And so we need, and that's what's so great about you, is that you are a man of faith and you are standing up where we are severely lacking that. We need more pastors standing up, getting involved, and not being afraid, having courage.
Yes. Yeah. And even though it means have people walking away, walking out of the church, but they'll come back. Because when the enemy starts hitting this world, they're going to recall the great preaching and the truth that they heard in the church. But as a congressman and as a person who's running for political office, I'm not abusing my position and my love for God. I don't do that. I get up and I speak the facts. I talk about what's happening statistically with our people and what policies would be best for the American people. And I believe the Trump policies, the Remain in Mexico policies, the Title 42 policies would have kept all of these people out of the country. When Joe Biden was just saying, and the Democrats are saying, it's a broken system. It's a broken system. And the meanwhile, they got the gates wide open and the people are coming and they're saying it's a broken system. Well, if it's a broken system, you should go back to the policies that President Donald Trump enforced that kept these people out of the country. But they're doing this for two reasons. They want the votes. And secondly, they want the census to use that to get more Senate seats. And once they get more congressional seats and Senate seats, they are going to stack the courts and they're going to get rid of the Constitution.
Yeah, they'll get rid of the Constitution.
They stack the courts and if they get what they want out of this and we don't get these people out of the country, then they're going to have more Senate seats and more congressional seats and they're going to vote to stack the courts and then all of our constitutional rights will be taken away. And
they're starting to do that now. These 4 years that we've allowed Biden, or they allowed Biden to be president, we've lost a lot of freedoms. Mm-hmm. They've taken over offices and states, and our economy is really, people don't see it, but everybody suffers. And
that's right.
We need people like you coming in and creating a storm. We need Cheryl, you're great. Mm-hmm. Alice, you're great at what you're doing. We need to create a storm. And you want to go ahead and you have a gathering at the park this Saturday. You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, it's going to be a meet and greet this Saturday. I'm not sure what city because we've done so many. And I'm thankful for Summer. She's putting them all together, but I don't know exactly which one this is. What does it say? Okay. It's going to be at 10 a.m. at the Margaret Hance Park.
Oh, downtown Phoenix.
667 West Coulter Street in Phoenix.
And it's
at 10 o'clock.
It's going to be Jerome there, Pastor Jerome and candidate Jerome, and also Bob Branch, I think, is going to be there talking.
For Board of Supervisors.
Okay.
So it's going to be a nice gathering. The bikers are going to be riding in at 9 o'clock from a different location. They're going to ride in as a group of bikers. And it's going to be a great, great event. So if you can be there, that's this Saturday. And Sunday, you're going to be at a church.
I'm preaching Sunday for Mother's Day. And I'm happy Mother's Day to all of you wonderful mothers. I preached a message from Genesis 3:15. And I talked about why Satan hates the woman. And that was a powerful, powerful message. And I matched that with John 19:26, where Jesus, before he died, he made sure that his mother was taken care of and that she had a son and that a son had a mother, which is his disciple, John. It's a powerful, powerful word. And I will be continuing that this Sunday at my church, the House of Judah. I'll be preaching part 2 on that because the church loved it so much. They want me to do a continuation on it.
There you go.
And I definitely will do that. But I wanted to ask you for a unique ask at this moment. Okay. I want to ask for volunteers. I want to make May my momentum month, and I want to build momentum by asking you to go to Team Davison at JeroneDavison.com, Team Davison at JeroneDavison.com, and we will send you the script and the phone numbers. And all we ask you to do is make 5 to 10 calls a day, 5 to 10 calls a day to help my campaign and let people know that we have a true America First candidate in CD4 who is going to defeat Greg Stanton and give him the sideline, kick him to the sideline so we can let a good starting quarterback go in there and score for CD4.
Woo!
Amen.
Team Davison at JeroneDavison.com.
Hey,
please make some calls. Ask everybody to help me out.
So that's JeroneDavison.com.
Mm-hmm.
And so they could donate to your campaign there too?
Well, they can go to Jerone for Congress.
Jerone for
Congress, Jerone. My father was half Native and Black, and he wanted to name me Geronimo. So my name is Jerome with an N. And so JeroneForCongress.com.
And that's Jerone, FOR, or the number 4?
Jerone, FOR, correct.
FOR for Congress. I wanted to ask you real quick, Jerone, and as you carry this political football, could you describe also CD4 kind of geographically what it encompasses?
Oh, absolutely. CD4 is one of the greatest areas in the world, in the United States. You have Tempe, Mesa, Ahwatukee, and Chandler. These are four of the greatest cities I've ever lived in. And I tell you what, the people are wonderful, they're thriving, and things are looking good. We just have to get a president in there that's going to make the American dollar boom, and we're going to take off again.
Yep. Do you want to say a few words, Cheryl, before we close? Give the address to the new
MCRC building.
Yeah, and it's going to be, they're going to have a grand opening next week or the week after, but we'll let you know. And it's a fantastic place in Chandler, and it's shared by the state GOP and the county.
It's the We the People office, or the We the People Center, I think is the name of it. And they are letting MCRC have a space. It's 7030 West Oakland Street in Chandler. So it's right off the 10 and Ray. And it's a wonderful, wonderful space, just absolutely beautiful. The AZGOP, Gina Swoboda, is going to have a space there. And I think maybe the RNC will also be taking some space there. So it's just going to be a really great, how did you put it? You said the People's House, right?
It's going to be the People's House.
The People's
and
Building there.
We're going to have a podcast from there, introducing it to our chipsters. And it's going to be beautiful. Thank you for Jerone for being on the program.
Thank you, sir, for having me. Good seeing you again, sir.
You're the winner.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jerome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
you, Alice, for being here.
And
thank you guys for letting me be on.
Thank you for tuning in from New Mexico. And
can I just say real quick?
Yes.
We've got a really great show that's coming up, and it's, like you said, it's already up on YouTube. We recorded it yesterday. It's with Sarah Smith. And it's universal because she is a big advocate of children's and parental rights, which is happening all over our country. Mm-hmm. She's trying to get some smutty, awful books out of our libraries. Please watch it if you can. I'll post it up on Facebook. And you know, every parent, every American really should watch it because
it'll be on our page. It'll be on YouTube. It'll be on Rumble.
It's not on Rumble yet, but it will be hopefully soon.
Right. So it'll be on Rumble. This will be on Rumble, be on YouTube. We're live right now on Facebook. People, listen to the Chips and Salsa show. We're going to be here for you during this whole Trump campaign, Trump victory, all the way to victory for Jerone, all the way to victory for all our good candidates. Listen to the Chips and Salsa. We'll be back next Tuesday, and we'll have more guests. We'll announce them next week. Thank you, chipsters, for tuning in, and I hope we have a blessed week. Everybody, watch your kids around water, and don't leave pets or kids unattended in their vehicle. Other than that, you want to say a few words?
Yep. Tell your friends to watch, and we'll see you next week.
And Jerome, thank you again for coming. Thank you, Eric, for putting this on. And this is our new studio, people. Get used to it. We're going to have fun here. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Take care.